Because PTG is transparent. Oh, hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to DevKami number 183. It's a factor of 3, just so you know.
So it's not a prime number.
Correct.
So number, but not prime number.
Correct. So Tristan is back, but
Nice.
he's only back virtually. So because his internet in Philippines already working, so yeah.
Nice.
So he can join us this time. So welcome back. And so how's Philippines?
Still the same. Not very different.
I miss your book rack.
Yeah.
My what? Sorry.
Your book rack used to be one of the room where last time you show where you have a book.
Yeah. Well, it's
store your Dune book.
Yeah, it's my niece's room now, so I can just
Yes. And today is 7/7. I hope you guys shop something. I think for the economy. I bought a projector, to be honest. I bought a cheap projector so that I can attempt to set up a CD bar in my room.
I bought an upgrade for the printer.
Yes.
I bought
Yeah.
What did you No. Go ahead.
I'm upgrading the printer from Bowden extruder to the rack extruder.
And I bought a PC case.
Nice.
I'm trying to find that because I took a picture. I think it's this one.
Let me open it. Where is it?
Wait. I'm downloading from Google Photos.
I think this is why Tristan's face froze.
Why?
Because you're downloading.
Can I share it?
Yeah, you can. Share your screen.
You know,
or just give me the link.
Yeah, I'll put it on Slack.
Yeah, put it on Slack. It might be faster for me to open anyway.
Yeah. Upload seems to be okay, but no, upload is not very good as well.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think I can share my tab. Okay, let me see. Share screen.
Yep.
Screen tab. Photos. There.
Yep.
That is the PC case, but it got
nice. Very nice.
You got it. Just this is how you got it. You didn't do painting or anything yourself.
No. Yeah, it's part of the thing.
Nice. Very nice. Not my style, but okay.
But I had to hammer it a bit. I didn't want to return it and then wait for.
It looked like the one of the side is crooked, right?
Yeah. It's not that bad. I mean, I was able to hammer it in. It chipped some of the paint, but it's not that bad. It's very cheap as well. So I just because I brought the motherboard and apparently they don't have it.
The paint
I
job
brought
is nice.
One of my old motherboards from KL to here, but apparently they don't have any more cases. So I had to buy a case so that the motherboard can at least be used by people here. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, that is what I bought to help the economy on 7/7. Because 7/7 is a Lazada apparently.
So my
shopping day.
So the thing I actually pretty cheap. I might regret it, but it's cheap. So I get this printer, this projector. Yeah.
How much is it? Oh, the 400 something.
Yeah, 400 something. Review say it's okay enough. I'm taking a bread lunch in short. So
what are you gonna use it with?
So I want to point something. I'm going to point something. Notice the empty wall.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect spot. Pointing properly is a perfect spot for me.
You're gonna change it to a wonder wall.
Yeah, correct. So I got a TV stick as well. I'm good. It's a legal one, I believe.
But this one has a audio output.
Yes. Most importantly, The only thing I really care about is whether they got audio output. The short answer is yes.
So you don't have to find a scramble to find a speaker.
Yes, they have internal one, but I don't think it's good. I'm gonna test it out first. And the thing is, this thing only have Miracast or Aircast.
Well, if it support a HDMI input, you can use any other.
Correct. So which is why I get Mi stick lah, Mi TV stick lah. So
I think the price shouldn't be that different. Actually, the Google TV stick isn't that different if you find if you.
Correct.
Yeah, it's 550. Can you search like Google TV stick?
Oh yeah, I should get that instead.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, it's the price. No, it's at least double price.
Yeah. Yes, because the Mi stick is 139, and the Google Smart TV stick is like Google's dongle.
I don't remember the price. I remember I got it cheap. Got it for cheaper back then.
Yeah, probably not so cheap nowadays. It's still within 200, so it's not too bad.
So it's definitely not for that price back then.
Yeah, probably it's harder to get nowadays. Is it from Realme or is something else?
No, this
Google TV.
Yeah, but I think the Mi one should be good because I have a Mi box that been serving me and now in my parents' place.
Correct. It works good.
You know, the funny thing is that my parents, they hate smart TV app.
Yep.
They like Chromecast so much that they've been reluctant to want to use the controller. Right. They like doing it from the phone, like it's more magical, like just push it to the like sci-fi just the expense, just push it to the TV. They prefer to do it that way.
So yeah lah, that would be my TV box setup lah. So with that said, let's start.
I'm hearing some static. Is that from swimming or from Tristan?
I don't know. Is it from me?
There are some static noises.
I'm mute.
Okay, it's from Tristan.
It's on mine. Is it very bad?
It's pretty noticeable.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Maybe my audio is too loud. Maybe.
Yep.
Like this.
Oh, okay. It's better now.
Yeah. Yep. It's the microphone is too loud.
Okay. So let's start. First thing first. Meetups. We do have meetups. First one is we have Rust meetup next week.
Yeah, it's a virtual one, right?
It's a virtual one. There's a link and form and all that. It's all virtual through Discord. So yeah, it's a union on Discord. I shut up. Then of course, TechUp had their own event as well. So yeah, that's about it lah. I might do another Python one. Let's see how bored I am. So let's start with Buzz Corner. First one, Win 9.0 release. So the first thing they introduced is Win 9 script. Why this is big deal, I do not know, because Emacs have released for a while.
Oh, I remember this, the fragmentation of the Vim script versus the Lua script.
Yeah.
It created a fragment.
Yes. So Emacs doesn't have this problem because Emacs and Ellipse since
Emacs is an operating system and also a programming language.
And yeah, it's programmed with the shell called Ellipse. Okay,
Ellipse.
Seriously. NeoVim have something like that, but I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea to make things interesting. So yeah, this is a big one lah. So, but this software is timeless, right? It's really timeless. So yeah, not much happening lah. The command is the same. They're not going to turn it fully GUI and all that. It's not like they're going to put it on GTK, right? So yeah. Next one, Risky Business News. This is actually a newsletter recommended by Chiliang. And yeah, it's about security.
And it's not even weekly. It's I think it's every 2 days.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard at work.
Yes. So yeah, watch it. It's interesting. Especially security is a big deal nowadays.
It's nice that we have a digest. Like even though it might be not everything for busy folks. Like for us, we have too much distraction. It's good to have some digest.
Yes. Give me a moment. There's something else I want to show, but much later. So yeah, and also nowadays our code is more complicated for reason that I never understand, but it is what it is. Let's move on. This is interesting. I thought I shared it last week. Either way, yeah, I thought I did. So this is actually yet another tools to create inventory for you to search for your to query for your infrastructure. And I personally have this problem because in a startup environment, in a true startup environment, it's a high trust environment, right? What do I mean by high trust? People can spin whatever infrastructure that they need. They can spin. They may spin their own database. They may spin. Lambdas easily, EC2, etc. As needed. So and because the push is to push for delivery, and AWS in the early on give a lot of discount. So they, as a result, you will have a mess like in the end. You will have things that you did not clean up, things that got spin up, etc. So good news is all these cloud services have APIs for you to query the infrastructures, and as a result, it's easy for you to actually query the infrastructure that you have. I have that to actually find mess, but this is actually very useful, to be honest. This is actually very useful. And it support all the major cloud services, and it can work with Slack and all that. So yeah, what do you think? If not, I'm gonna move on.
Yeah.
Move on. Next one.
Can you automate like the drawing of your AWS architecture?
Not for me, but I'm sure it exists. I know it exists because AWS has a product called workload discovery. But what they do is they actually look at the existing cloud formation. If your thing are spin at with different cloud formation, maybe not. Maybe not.
Well, it's easier to do that kind of inventory if you do subscribe to the cloud, what do you call this, infrastructure as code philosophy.
Yeah, correct.
Now
So
you have everything written down, right? It's not
correct.
Nobody's manually spinning up systems without any trace, without any audits. So that becomes
Correct.
problematic
So
for tracing.
correct. So yeah lah. It exists. To be honest, it exists, but
Oh, this looks nice.
yeah, but I for some reason it feels weird. It feels like it do something else for different reason. So either way, this exists. But I do not know how well it work for our stuff lah. But I know for sure that it search through a cloud formation and all that. It's possible. It's possible. I'm gonna move on. So Linus Torvald hope to get Rust merged into Linux kernel soon. It's not like, the whole thing rewritten in Rust. It's more like Rust can be used to write kernel components.
Future stuff.
Especially drivers, but of course they can go a bit deeper.
Yeah, but driver is the issue with driver is more than just the code.
Yeah, correct.
It's the IP and the shenanigans.
Correct. So yeah, Linux kernel moved to the 21st century because they use C actually instead of C++. So yeah.
No food gun.
Yeah. Whoop, it doesn't exist. What is this story? Oh no! I copied the wrong link.
You can just copy and paste it.
Yeah. I'm going to copy and paste it. I need to dig it out rather. So this one is actually a story by IEEE. Let me sign in before. Don't ask me to create an account. I can sign me in. I already have an account. It's free. Login is free. Okay, join them. Okay, so the i860, you may not heard of it, is actually a graphic processor. This processor is the first million transistor chip. So and this is used for It's for a company that want it's a RISC processor. It's used for graphic, but I do not know who wants it. But yeah, so at that time it's not the RISC, it's MIP. So some microsystem have that. So it's a cool story about how it's done, actually, how it is done and why they do it. And all this is done in 1986. And I do not know what i860 for other than for graphic, because it's written inside. So it's a cool story. If you're into history, check it out. It's cool. And just so you know,
I saw the title, but I didn't read it.
Yeah. So in a way, cool story. I just want to say that you should read it. Next one is BD, the modern day equivalent of watch. So this is actually cool because you can time travel, meaning they actually record the output of the screen, and then they have a diff. They show the diff as the operation is run. So in a way, it's like watch. So, and in this case, watch is having watch like this is very useful, because when you run when we lazy people run application, we just use watch to actually run it on the back, keep rerun the same thing over and over for the testing. Know what I mean? So yeah. Yep, I like this. It's written in Golang. It have all the cool features, and you can install on Linux, Mac, and that's about it. It doesn't work on Windows, by the way. So yeah.
What's
it's because it's a wrapper of watch, I think.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, what's the question again?
Yeah, why does it not run on Windows?
Because watch is an application.
Let me check it out. VD.
Because it has to. Is it because it has to? Probably not watch, but it has to run the file, right? So it's like a shell.
Yeah,
or it's a POSIX or relies on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it needs to transfer over control or exec.
But assuming it has Windows support in the code.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm wrong then.
I think it's just there's no instruction to there, because there are no the instruction is just the command line tools to do it.
Yeah, they're primarily a Linux user, so it might work with that they don't test it, or they do not.
No, there is. If you click the release, there is the release on the release part, not on the instruction.
Okay.
Yeah, these are like the package manager, right? So
yeah.
So if you go to release down there,
release
they change the layout. So releases.
Okay, function.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
assets.
Yeah, it is all here.
Okay, cool. And it's very recent too. Either way, are very cool tools. I might try it in future. So I'm gonna move on. Anything else? If not, move on.
No.
So somewhat related. Oh no, not yet. We have that in the future, Hyperfine. But let's start with this first. So Aqua Security is one of the people that behind my favorite security tool, 3V.
3V is really good.
Yes, it's very good. 3V. Okay, so one cool thing about 3V, before as a segue, one thing about 3V is that I use it recently to scan code. So what it does is it scans for configuration, secret, and also the code itself.
It scans for like if you use on your OS or on Docker, it scans the version, the packages.
Correct.
Everything.
And for things like so they also scan for on serverless. If you use serverless framework, they actually generate CloudFormation template. They actually scan for that, by the way. So
yeah, but it's no magic, like it's not really scanning for signature or what. It's just looking for dependencies packages.
Correct. So
it's so convenient that it's so convenient that it covers everything just magically, right?
Correct. It does not. So these things check your basic configurations. For example, for standard configuration like CloudFormation, right? Then it's easy for them to check for file permission, right? Then for dependency, that's the easiest thing to check because there is a CVD for that. And of course, check for secret. If you have secrets, then they just search for patterns. To actually check for security of application, you still need to do you need to pen test it or scan it with Z or whatnot. So yeah. So this one, so this new thing for Aqua Security is actually a dependency checker. It's audit your supply chain, in short. So they actually check for your dependency, I think. Using Docker, blah, 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 CIS benchmark. What the hell is this? So either way, supply chain security is a hot thing recently because the US government requires it. So there is a whole rules for that. So they do not just check against code, they also check like where's the source of the software, what's your dependencies, etc., etc. So yeah, not that important if you don't require it, but it will work on software companies that require stricter security. You very likely have to do this nowadays. And ECOSec actually provide these tools for you to do it. So yeah. So I'm gonna move on. Anything else? If not, move on.
Nope.
No.
Okay. This one is so Apple actually introduced lockdown mode. So this is actually for users in targeted state-sponsored attack. So yeah, so what in lockdown mode you cannot use. They will lock down a few applications. So they will lock down your message, your web browsers, service, and all that. Interesting that they're willing to go so far to make some of these applications harder to use. So yeah, things will be interesting. If you require this level of security, then yes, you should use
I think the static is back again from Tuesday.
Correct.
What did I do? I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's probably interference.
Maybe.
It's just,
So yeah, anything to add? If not, move on.
No.
Let me switch to a different microphone.
Might be the aliens trying to reach us.
Yeah, or maybe maybe there's actually something in between the fiber optic between Philippines and Malaysia. I think it's the shark. So for volumetric float is actually a way for you to actually create a more atmospheric environment in your game. So imagine that in the old days everything is transparent, right? So imagine games like Silent Hill where everything is foggy. So it gives you an atmosphere, but what?
No, it's the feedback from Tristan's speaker.
So
yeah,
with this, you will actually have the feel for the game. So you would have things like Silent Hill for horrors, for example, or for example in environment
or like Fog of War.
Yeah, Fog of War, precisely. So there is a lot of reason why you want this, and Godot now have that. So a win for game open source game engine. Of course, professional game engine have that, but we're talking about professional game engine. So yeah, very interesting. I'm going to move on. Hyperfine. This is actually something. This is actually a form to run. It's actually time, right? But time with breakdown. Is it right? And that's about it, really. So if you use a complex command, then you can actually it's time, but you can actually time the.
It includes like warm up and stuff.
Correct. It's not deep profiling, but it gives you enough. You want to know how slow your application runs, and so it's something that I will use in the future. So it might be a bit hard.
It was where did we get this? It was from another discussion. I remember.
I do not know which discussion from you.
It's one of the things that shared. Then I saw it in the tool that were used to prove that.
Oh, I don't know. I can't think of any.
Are you able to hear me now? And is it better
Yeah.
now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
So they
Oh, by the
provide
way,
uh-huh.
these earphones are also from the Hatsune Miku line. This is one of the what they call this um, time limited
Uh-huh.
uh, Moondrop area like collaborations.
Okay.
So it's a limited edition Hatsune
Nice.
Miku. It's very nice though.
Yeah.
It's the Moondrop area. It's very neutral sounding.
Yeah, because Hatsune Miku is about music, so they want something. If they do something like
Yeah,
that,
but you have a lot of people that come up with reference monitor and they want base on it. So it's a
Mm,
yeah, correct.
neutral is good.
yeah, this is
Yes,
it's the same as Moondrop area. It's just like um, it's just a tie-in with Hatsune Miku.
correct. Cool. So this one, as you say, warm-up benchmark. It's very cool. You should try it
Yeah.
for initial benchmark. Maybe a bit hard if you're doing like serverless, but if you do things like you can still use it, like we use offline mode to have some idea. For Rails application or other server application, is awesome. Command application, definitely. So I'm gonna move on. This one. Do you know Kawasanku?
Yeah.
Nope. What
Okay,
is
I'm
that?
going to show you. I'm going to show you.
It's
Search Google for Kawasanku.
open data from the
Yeah,
Department of Statistics Malaysia, which is a very
yeah,
rare move and welcome move.
correct.
What
So
does Kawasanku mean?
Kawasan is my area.
my
Kawasan is
area,
area.
correct.
Is it different from was it Kawanku or something? I forgot the meaning.
Kawanku is a
Kawan is my
product,
Kawan is
is
friend.
friend, but
Ah,
Kawanku is a product by
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Bank Simpanan National for
Really,
their
mm,
online thing.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Okay, here you are.
so Kawasanku is my area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Here you are. It's faster from here. So this is what they implement. So let's say I live in Selangor, okay. The so this Selangor, the show area, but they show you the data they have from the census. So in this case, in theory, it might be harder for me to find a girlfriend because there's more male than female.
Blame whatever you want, man.
So
You
What
know the
about the
so
census.
marital status there?
okay, so I'm going to be a bit more serious now. So because in Malaysia, the constituency is actually there is no quote unquote one type of constituency. So they include three type district. So this Gombak and all that. The parliamentary constituency, which may overlap multiple of these. Thanks for gerrymandering. Is the same for state assembly. One thing they did not include is actually the post Malaysia's boundary, probably not in their area, but then from here I can find. No, what? Let's find district because this what I know. Then Gombak. Then I can explore more of this data, and all these are actually from census. So, the census 2020. So you would get things like what's the maximum elevation. So a lot of these are geological, not very interesting. More interesting things is
It's
what's the household size. So the
a
household
welcome
size,
move.
yeah, correct. It's awesome. It's really awesome. So a bit hard to read though some of this data, but it's cool visualization. So interesting. So what happened? Why so many people die? Why so many people
No,
die?
most of them are married, unfortunately, for swimming.
Oh, sorry. The visualization sucks because this color is similar to Vido. So I'm thinking why so many people are Vido?
Yeah.
It's a wrong color scheme, like it's a bad color scheme, to be honest. So as you can see, I also knows that most of people here are retired, working age. Sorry, as I say, I hate the color scheme, but you get the
It's
idea.
yeah, it doesn't represent.
Is there
Correct.
like a colorblind version of this? Maybe that would be like usually
Uh,
you have that kind, right? The
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
this
yeah,
one is
yeah,
for
colorblind.
government websites.
I think
No,
because this
there's
one
no
is
official rules. There's no official rules. There's no official rules. So this is actually to look at median. So yeah.
it's technically just black and white. I'm not sure how it works, but it's just black.
It's actually a default color scheme from the chart library. I don't remember which one.
Oh, okay. So
It's
in
a
a way,
Jason,
that's like
Jason Kwa has an interesting comment. Says it's
Yep,
an
go on.
interesting website for real estate buyers, which is
correct, precisely. And
to find
also
to find the one with the least married population.
no, so this is more interesting. Actually, real estate high value. More interesting is something for general sales, right? But all sales anything is precisely about one area which is from the census. Because
well, yeah, but so that's the thing. Census is like actually one of the like least like data rich things. If you have a loyalty or rewards card or even credit cards, like you have a lot of data already for people. Because you fill in your information, right? You fill in your information for rewards
but
card.
you always
Credit cards will know about you.
Yes, but
you can buy those data.
You almost always start with the census, then you start promoting from there to get them more. So you refine from these numbers, right? So for example,
this is a free one, but it's the least data dense. If you really are interested in market research, you buy data from credit card companies or rewards points providers, all of these things, because that's where they get their money. But of course, this is good for for us poor people who can't afford any of those market research data.
It's actually from our taxpayers' money, so it's good that we get the data.
Yeah, because when Census Malaysia come into us, the question they ask is actually very the data they ask is not very high. They only ask for your when they call you, they only ask for your family members, how many family members, and your salary and all that. So that's what they ask, right? Then everything else is from the land department, like how many houses and all that. Then from there, you count how many houses. So when you go to census, you count how many houses. Then they do that on the record. Then they ask for your family members. That's the only thing they ask actually. Then everything else is everything else they have to deduce law. So either way, this is a source code for that project. It's written in JavaScript, of course. It's given. It's open source, so you have a reference. The only thing that the Malaysian government doesn't do is they do not provide a standard, and it is not the statistic department job to provide a standard. It would be better if they have for their own data, but unlike the UK, we do not have a Malaysian government standard for web application, color scheme and all that. So yeah, and this is the last one. So this is actually one of multiple malware that actually have very sophisticated hiding a way to hide the application. Again, like Symbiote that we talked about last week briefly, they actually hide on LD. So it's like, so instead of as a file, they put it themselves as modules, right? Then they infect application through modules. So, and as a result, they hide the application pretty well. So yeah, it's scary, and it is expected because Linux, everything runs on Linux server nowadays. So of course it'll be a big target. And in my part, I should try to convince my company to use BSDs. We should just use FreeBSD to avoid being a target. Except FreeBSD actually have Linux compatibility. Damn it. Okay, ignore me. So either way, this is a very interesting way to hide your application. So as a result, as a sysadmin or AKA SWE nowadays, what's the SWE stand for?
You need to have your security modeling.
Yeah, seriously think about your security modeling now. Seriously.
And my model is not your model. Just famous
Correct.
saying.
Seriously. So you have to know where your people come from. You have to think about who use the application and where's thing that you need to care about, etc. So yeah, this security thing. Okay, from Jason Kwa again. I'm done with security. This is it's pretty study and pretty scary. So start worrying and start learning security. So from Jason, I'm going to put Jason again. Actually, it's not as useful for real estate buyer because, okay, maybe it does because they have the basic demography. Like I'm going to open Kawasanku
No,
again.
so for a buyer, because you don't have access to market data, right?
I think
if you're a
it's
buyer, you
I
can
think it's
only do
pretty
the
I think it's
free
pretty cheap to get more detailed information.
Correct.
Real estate buying.
Yeah, because as I said just now, right, the type of thing that they gather is not enough. It only at most is what is a base, right? It's the starting line for you to gather more information.
You can even buy how many overhangs.
Correct. So you
there?
can get
Wow.
a lot more
Which is a
from
lot.
the private source because they're doing it partially illegally because we never read the agreement.
You know,
So-
something like a conspiracy theorist is that I don't know. I've seen the data. There's a lot of overhangs,
Mhm.
and they are still building a lot more.
Yeah.
And the price keep rising, which I thought I don't understand at all.
Yeah, actually, I think there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope that people willing. If we're going to it's like computer, right? It's like computer. So if you're going to throw if all computer is 5,000 ringgit, that you have no other price, of course you pay 5,000 ringgit. I think it's the same mentality for houses because there's constantly people buying houses, especially people that can afford it to sell to rent. Of course, they're just doing that.
No, overhang means that nobody is buying it.
Yeah, I mean they originally have that problem, right? Don't have that problem until they have now, right? Until they have now. So yeah, I think I don't know because I find that traditional Malaysian business are not always data driven, but that is
I don't really care how it does, like whether they read the data or not. Is that it's just
no they don't. But as a result, I think this is one of those cases where it impact them lah. So at that said, I think we're done. I have nothing else to talk about actually. To be honest, the best I'm going to talk about is the Raspberry thing I want to get. Oh yeah, it's a holiday. It's a holiday.
It's a long weekend
again.
Yeah.
So yeah, multiple things I can do, right?
And you know what's funny is that the traffic already started.
Yes. I think it's very weird because it's a 3-day break. I do not know how long you can stay in the kampong, to be honest.
Oh no, it's that people gonna take extended leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most likely.
So like some colleagues, they already took tomorrow off. Some they started to take off this today, and I think it's fair also because there's been 2 years since they've been able to celebrate this.
Yeah, makes sense.
We lost 2 years that it's funny because the memory is a bit fuzzy. It's like those 2 years were. It sounds long, but we didn't actually make much memory from that 2 years. Just gone, sort of.
I'm going to open up two things first before we go. Yeah, actually, it's also a privilege in a way because all my family, my closest family and extended family are all in KL, except for my mom that may want to go back to Ipoh because I don't know, she's from there. I'm not close to that side of family.
Yeah, that place is I heard it's the best place in the world.
Actually, it's not Ipoh. Also, it's all the way. It's Kampong Sungai Rotan.
Last time conversation. I remember it was from your mom was from Taiping, right?
The village is closer to Taiping than Ipoh.
Yeah, I remember things.
Yeah, so it's actually typing that Ipoh, but it's not even Ipoh. It's actually closer to.
But Ipoh, I heard, is the best place in the world.
I don't know, man.
Is Ipoh the one with the chicken that's salted and very very dry? Is that it? Or is
I
that
do not know where
Melaka?
you
I
hear
think it's
that.
Melaka.
I do not know where you hear that.
I don't know what that is.
Ipoh is well known for the chicken rice and cave.
Not
Apparently,
really
not
chicken, not
rice.
really chicken rice.
Yeah, not really chicken rice anymore. We used to go there for chicken
It's-
rice, but not anymore.
It's no, it's the bean sprout, not the chicken rice. But you often eat it with chicken rice, so
Yeah.
it get associated with it.
Correct. So, latest news that I just get. System Bloody D creator. Yes, I will keep calling it that. System Bloody D creator joined the
It's showing Windows nice.
yeah.
What is gonna do like?
Actually,
throw registry out of the window.
no, actually, it might. Okay, true. But Microsoft have their own. Microsoft actually have their own Linux distro, by the way. And System D is actually very useful. It's actually very useful at starting up all the complex things. So, for example, System D can be used to manage Docker images in the beginning, right? That's what they use for, and which is why they actually start doing networking so early on. They manage so many things that previously are not managed by the system.
What I like is that similarly to what available on how we use container is that what I like about systemd is that it can wait, it can be what we call dependent on, as in it has dependency check, lifetime check.
Yeah, correct.
So that when the service is ready, do not try to start until this is ready. So which like back then I don't miss it, like writing etc config that just do a while loop until it.
You want to write initd for you to do that, it's impossible. So
which is why you have that it's hard to do it.
Correct, you would end up writing an application, something to check on it. It will get complicated really fast. So that's one good thing about System Bloody D. So, but that being said, they're also very complicated. They're also too complicated for an init tool, so it's not Unix-like. But that being said, I can imagine System D will be used on their own Linux, their own operating system, because their operating system, their server operating system have this kind of use case, to be honest. So yeah, WSL maybe more likely CBL Marina and Azure. So this is the thing that
it would be nice if WSL Docker services can run during Windows startup, like just like what we have right now, right? Or like any not necessarily just Docker, but mostly like applications or services. Like, can you run an SSH server that automatically runs in WSL when Windows starts up? So that makes Windows a lot more useful, because you don't have to manage your startup files in Windows. You can also run it as a systemd service on WSL.
Correct. So, okay. So here's also something very interesting. Of course, Microsoft have created a Python for a while, which is interesting because I thought he retired, but oh well, he is bored. Miguel de Icaza, which many people forget, actually created GNOME, and also the one that pushed C#.
Silverlight, right? Was it Silverlight?
No. It's called. Damn it!
Silverlight. It's not Silverlight.
Silverlight is the alternative to Flash.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? No.
So either way, then after that, then he left. Then
it's Silverlight.
2007. Interesting. Okay, let's move on a bit. The GitHub CEO is actually from Xamarin. from Xamarin, which have open source root because of Miguel. Then of course we have Gen 2 Linux founder, was previously from Microsoft. Then Steve Fridge, maintainer Samba that works for Microsoft. Microsoft have very impressive roster of open source developers, to be honest. So yeah, so if we have this old joke called the year of Linux desktop. Maybe it really happened. We call it WSL, right? We call it WSL. So yeah. So honestly, I do not know what Leonard will work on. Will work on with systemd, but things like systemd is useful for Azure and among many products. So yeah, I can see that in the future. Maybe Microsoft won't create like an open source Linux distro. But that being said, Windows Server is not like the biggest thing they're selling nowadays anyway. So, and next one, this is actually a follow-up from last week. Raspberry Pi Pico W is released. For now, the only thing they have is the pre-soldered one, meaning they do not come with the pin soldered on. So, but unlike the ESP, so this is actually the RP2040 on top of it do not actually have the networking capability. They add a new chip on it. So yeah, but even that they still get the right similar. You still get on MicroPython, you still get the same SDK for you to write, to actually write code. So, for example, if you use this code, it's actually the same of MicroPython on ESP8266 and ESP32. So you can actually use, so it's the same code for you to actually connect to the internet. It's very cool. So with this, you can have a alternative to the ESP series for you to build an actual IoT device. In this case, the I here means internet, so you can have something to connect to the internet. So which is cool. So one thing the Python firmware doesn't, MicroPython firmware or CircuitPython firmware does not have is actually Bluetooth. You can do that with C++. So I can imagine why as well, because on ESP32, even though they have the capability to, the hardware itself has capability to do Bluetooth, MicroPython, the firmware is actually pretty fat. So there is no way for you to put a firmware extension on MicroPython for them to get Bluetooth and because MicroPython on ESP32 is what is used to, I can imagine, used to base the code on. So as a result, MicroPython do not have a good interface for Bluetooth yet. And yeah, so as a result, it just won't work. It just won't work on MicroPython. But if you learn on C++, you will get it. So yeah. So what do you think? Are you looking forward to it?
The Pico W?
Yeah.
I am, but I still have a lot of the NRF52 that we bought as a group. So I still want to use that first. It's also smaller. The thing is, the Pico W is more easily available right now. So
correct.
Once I run out of that NRF52, then yes, because here's the thing with wireless, right? Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are two different things. You usually use Wi-Fi for applications that you don't really care about the battery
power
life.
saving.
Power saving. You usually have it like plugged in, or you have your battery life is measured in days, let's say, like 1 day, for example, or in hours.
Correct.
So and you want a lot of bandwidth. But Bluetooth, usually you do it for low power applications. You measure it in weeks, for example, or like for example your watch, you don't have to charge it for like 2 weeks, for example. and that's why it's very very low power. Having both of them, like the ESP 32, for example,
Yeah.
you can't really use the ESP32 now for low power
No.
Bluetooth because like you have to do a lot of things. You have to turn off the Wi-Fi.
Correct.
You have to turn all of these things, and then
Yes.
you have it's very power hungry, and so it's
Correct.
probably the same with the Pico, where well the thing is it's on a separate chip, so
Yes.
unless you turn it on, then it's probably not going to use a lot of power, but it is going to be on standby. So for low power
Yes.
applications, it's not as useful. Unlike, for example, the NRF52, it's like that's Bluetooth only. You don't have to turn
Yep.
off any Wi-Fi,
Yep.
and that's the only issue I see with the Pico W. Is that
Correct.
it's generic enough that you can't really use it for very specialized applications. Right? You have
Yes.
all of them, and so you can probably only use it for the Wi-Fi applications, for example. Like you don't really
Correct.
care about power saving.
So either way, it will be a while before it come because I checked our favorite supplier. It's 30 ringgit, so it's very cheap, but it's coming soon. So it'll be a while. It'll be a while. And I actually do have multiple projects that I want to do first. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. So this tech news we're done on that. Da, da, da. Then what else do I miss? That's about it. Long holiday, hacking, blah blah. So with that said, can we end early? Should we end early or we have something we want to show?
No, what else do you have?
I'm out of things to be honest. I only have books, my phone, battery dying for reason I never understand.
Which battery is that?
Let's see. So it's a rechargeable battery. It's recycled. It's recycled.
No. Well, so it's a nickel metal hydride, right?
Yep.
What I've been using now are lithium rechargeable AA batteries. So again, if you go to Lazada, you can go
Yep.
for lithium rechargeable AA batteries.
Yep.
The charger is built into the battery, so you plug it in either USB-C or micro USB.
Okay.
Uh,
Let me.
and
Okay.
I would
Lazada.
recommend those because I think lithium ion is uh, has a lot more charges, and it's very so because lithium ion has a 3.7 volt uh, intrinsic charge, right? Um,
Yep.
and so you would that battery includes um, like a step down voltage automatically for 1.5, and so that means it will like it unlike for example a double A rechargeable battery or like the normal alkaline or usual battery, you'll
Yep.
have like it's a 1.5 and it goes down to 1.2, and a
Right.
rechargeable nickel metal hydride is 1.2 nominal and then it goes to 1 volt, right? Whereas
Right.
these things, they're
Yep.
1.5 all throughout and then it just stops because the step down circuitry will like cut off when the internal lithium ion is less than 3 volts, which is
Right.
I like it a lot better, especially for high drain devices like cameras, for example, or
Right.
um, like flash for the flash photography. So I have a lot of them. I have a bunch of them. They
Yep.
take a long time before you need to recharge again, and
Yep.
um, if you want to charge it, then you just have a. This is not it. This is the nickel metal hydride. This is like saying like how you used to do it. Uh,
Oh, okay.
the charger is built in. So
It's
see, it has
like this, right?
a slot. Yeah, and you just charge it with the built-in. So they give you USB-C cable, or you can just use any USB-C
Yeah.
cable to charge it.
I
So I
think
like it.
for
It's a bit expensive, but you never have to throw them away.
yeah. I'm looking for something like this because the thing is I'm using a mouse. I'm using a mouse, a wireless mouse. For some reason, recently this is sucking up a lot more battery. I try to understand why as well. It's either that or because the new battery I bought are not fully
Yeah.
charged. So
The nickel metal hydrides just it's good in the first few charges and then it just doesn't go. I like it for clocks, like
Mhm.
because you just need to recharge it and then I just have a bank of charged nickel metal hydrides. But for actual like for mice or for the cameras, yeah, this is the one that I use.
Okay. So okay, the keyword here is you have to search for USB because otherwise the
Lithium. Yeah. Well, I like the USB-C though, because I find it hard to, because usually when you want to charge it, it's already dark and you probably want to um, like get things plugged in quickly. So I'm looking for Type C because
yeah.
it's like reversible. For Type A, for the Type micro USB, it's just difficult to plug them in.
Okay, it's comparatively expensive comparatively, but it's not by
No,
much. Like it's not
that's 9 volts. You're looking at the 9 volts,
right. Okay.
and that's like two
Still,
of them. So that's 12 ringgit per piece.
yeah, correct. So yeah, I get this thing for around this price as well.
The one that gonna be really convenient is like for the mouse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, but be careful if you're using it for the mouse. You
Yep.
might want to charge it while it's plugged in. Don't do it because when you're charging it, it's 5 volts, and both ends of the terminal will be 5 volts. It's the 5 volt differential. It will kill your mouse because
Put it
it's
this
going to be
way,
like to it. So don't charge it while it's plugged in.
there is no way for me to do that because if I unplug it, I can't use the mouse at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the
So
thing, right? It's like
yeah,
the Apple mouse. You have to plug
yeah,
it in, but
yeah,
don't charge the battery while it's plugged in while it's inside the mouse
Yeah.
because it's not
Understand.
1.5 volts anymore. It's going to be
yeah, yeah,
5 volts and it will kill your
yeah. I
mouse.
got it. I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
But also, there's no way for me to plug anyway, so it's unusable. So I have to unplug it and plug it anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, I need to get that, because this thing does not last as much as I want it,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I,
And
I
as I,
bought a number of nickel metal hydrides. It was the same, which is why when I found this, like, yeah,
yeah,
I switched over to lithium.
okay, I should try that. You should tell me earlier because I just wasted money on this.
I didn't
I
know.
think
You
this,
were not asking me.
yeah, I didn't know because this one, as it turns out, as I go to electrical shop, they actually say that this is actually used for phones, which is last longer, of course. So yeah, you know what? Is it still on sale? Oh yeah, actually the 7/7 sale, which by the way we are not affiliated, we do not get a single cent from Lazada or anything.
We can be
Sure.
on Lazada Live. Then all sales from our page will be
Yeah.
affiliate links.
Fine
But
by
you know
me as
that
well.
what they call this, Lazada Live has like these channels, and then you have like influencers, and then they have their
Yeah.
own page, and you can
But we are like
whatever day they show.
influencing. We are influencing like two people here, right?
Mhm.
We are
Fine.
influencing two people.
I think probably gonna sometimes it might be the attraction as well.
Yeah. So either way, yeah, that's about it lah. So we're done. So anything else you want to take? Any discovery?
No,
Cool.
we'll see
I
you
think
next week. When is the Python meetup? I thought I saw on Slack there was a Python.
it's a
there
Rust
is going to
meetup.
be a
It's
Rust
a
meetup.
Rust meet.
Okay.
okay.
It's on 13th
Mhm.
Wednesday.
Is it a physical meetup or hybrid or online only?
It's a virtual meetup on Discord. It's a reunion on Discord.
Mm. Because next month, the Ruby people are trying out a hybrid meetup. So they're planning on meeting up on Hivekind office, but they're
Yep.
going to be streaming it as well. And the presenters will be presenting on StreamYard and of course projecting on the screen for the people
Yep.
in the office. And they're doing pizza again. It's a
Nice.
hybrid thing, and then we'll see.
Yep. And
Oh,
final
speaking
one,
of that, sorry, we still have time, right? Can you go to can you search for Bun.js?
BUND,
Bun.js. Bunjs.
or BUNJS. This one.
Yes. This is apparently
Yeah,
the
with the new
replacement of
runtime.
Node and Dino. Because you showed that
Let me
guy
one.
Oh,
for
but it's written in Dino, right? If I remember correctly. It's
no,
a
apparently it's a replacement for Dino. Like
okay.
get rid of Dino
It's
anymore.
written
We
in
don't need
Zig.
Dino anymore.
No, but from Zig.
Crap.
Oh, it's written.
Yes.
So
Holy
it's
crap.
a Rust versus Zig.
Damn.
But it's a very different direction for both languages. Zig is to get you as much power and control.
Yes.
And Rust is about safety and following the
In
convention.
this case,
So
I think
it's a very different. And Zig is also a Z compiler.
Yeah. Holy crap! Are you kidding me?
It's unfortunately it's still pretty for me. I mean, a layman trying to get into Zig is that the documentation was still not that easy to read yet.
Yeah, just be careful. You might have people like suddenly changing all of your infrastructure code with bun. Suddenly, like npm doesn't work anymore because your application was written in bun.
We're gonna come up with something called PowerJS.
Yeah.
Put it this way, I have no worry about that because until AWS support it, I'll be fine. I'll be safe because they don't want to run servers.
I don't know. I don't know about the sentiment. Is that I prefer the direction of like Zig or C++ than Rust.
Than Rust?
Yeah.
So either way,
of course, I understand the safety and everything, but is that
but it's because as a developer you have a lot of blocks, and sometimes you just want to get something done quickly, and you understand the like you're not dealing with some edge cases, right? Sometimes you just want to get it done, but of course, depending on what application you're working with, like you have to be able to choose. The thing about Rust is that there's no choice unless you do unsafe, but then still the compiler will still force you to do all of the things because it's a syntax thing.
But Go don't have a lot of choice either, to be honest. I mean,
they have some choices, lah.
But
you can just you don't have to even deal with error messages, You just like
it's the lack of choices of Go actually is that if you're familiar, it's actually similar to what we learned C++, is that if you know if the allocation is going to stack or the heap, you pretty much gonna write high performance Go code. Just it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So either way, this video is funny. So watch it and share it to the channel. Have fun. Maybe people don't get angry with it. So with that said, have a long holiday. Learn Zig or Rust, whatever, for your long holiday. May it be productive or relaxing, whatever you want to do. So with that said, say goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Yes.
I'm gonna end.